Video is big for you. It's even bigger now. It's exceeded your expectations.
It has. I mean, if you look back at our last quarter, we grew at 29% year on year and seeing explosive growth internationally, over 30% year on year growth. Japan, a massive market, growing 44% year on year growth. More than half of that growth, that revenue, is coming from video. And we've been building partnerships out with partners all over the region. We're really excited about doing work with Bloomberg and TikTok, which has been a wild success here, bringing on partners like Subaru to partner with us on that. But also across India, where we've done a great partnership with Network 18 to bring back the best news, working with Fox Sports Asia. Sports, news, and entertainment, we're bringing incredible video content to the service. And it's bringing and wrapping that around great conversation on Twitter. It's a really unique experience and great for marketers.
You're offering everybody everything, sports, entertainment, so on and so forth. You're not the next Netflix. Or you're not competing with a traditional...
No, we're not competing with Netflix. I'll tell you what we are doing, though. We're listening to what people are talking about on our service. We have incredible data. It's the world's largest conversations are happening on Twitter. And we're able to go ahead and mine that data and connect with partnerships that make sense. So, for example, you think about technology. The world's largest technology conference is really happening on Twitter every single day. So we partner with brands to bring them into that experience. This could include someone like Motorola, who launched their product tapping into that conversation in India for their Moto G6 launch.
Tell me, what's the split between daily active users and just active monthly users?
Yeah, well, we don't break out the actual numbers, but we've described our most recent earnings call. We had 9% year-on-year growth in our daily active users. That's the 7th consecutive quarter of between 9% and 14% DAU growth. So we're seeing really strong growth there, and we're managing that while also making the platform healthier. When we talk about health of Twitter, we're talking about actually making it a really safe and comfortable place for people to have conversations on the service.
So, yeah, absolutely. And what I'm trying to get at is, in this part of the world, what percentage of revenues come from this part of the world as a part of the whole pie?
Yeah, it's a great question. We break out our international revenues. It's more than half of our overall revenue at Twitter. We do break out Japan as an independent market. I mentioned it grew at 44% year on year. It's a massive growth driver for us, but it's not the only one in the region. I'd also point to the success that we're seeing in China with a lot of the cross-border marketing that's happening with us, in India, and also across Southeast Asia.
There's been a crackdown on fake accounts, malicious accounts. Yes. How successful have you been?
We're making real progress, but there's still a lot of more work to do. In our most recent earnings call, we talked about the fact that we're taking about 9.3 million accounts now that we're challenging every single week.
President Trump is taking issue with that.
Yeah, there were some tweets out there. There's no bias around what we're doing, but we do believe we have to work toward making Twitter a really healthy place for people to have conversations. And frankly, that's work that we don't want to compete on with others. We're partnering with other parties, including academic institutions, to help us measure the health of the conversation on Twitter. We look at this as a long-term growth vector for the company. We believe that if we make the conversation healthy on Twitter, it'll end up being a place where people spend more time and more people come on to join the conversation on Twitter, to connect with what's happening and talk about it.
Matt, David here in Hong Kong. Just to further this conversation, is there a sense of how much more in terms of scale and purging that might likely take place? And is there a revenue impact from all of this?
Yeah, well, we've been focused on this as the number one priority in the company, creating a more healthy Twitter. And we have seen some effects on the monthly active user number. But if you look at the actual revenue number, we've been able to build really strong partnerships that have shown really great health. At 29% year-on-year revenue growth in the most recent quarter. So I think demonstrates that we can make Twitter healthier while also building a really healthy, sustainable business. Part of the reason for that, I think, is that we're getting really good at delivering better ROI for advertisers. And that is a benefit that comes from a lot of the great machine learning work that our revenue product team has been building out over the last year.
You talk about wanting more, healthy conversations on Twitter. Yeah. And one of the moves that's being considered right now is to get rid of the like button. I mean, is that really a possibility? I mean, it's something that's a huge feature of Twitter.
Right. Well, listen, we're always open to experimenting and finding out what's working.
Are you seriously considering that?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that specific experiment, but I'm telling you, like, look, I love that our company is so confident right now that we're taking some bold moves. I mean, about 18 months ago, we switched over from 140 characters to 280, and Twitter erupted. But lo and behold, here we are, a year and a half later, and it's been a really positive experience and enhancing the ability to have meaningful conversations on the service all over the world.
I mean, of course, you're event-driven as well. So what can we look forward to, which is likely to boost your revenues and boost the amount of people actually on Twitter?
Events have always been sort of a critical part of the Twitter experience. Certainly in this part of the world, they look at the amount of elections that are going to be coming to bear over the next 6 months. It's breathtaking. I think those are all going to be very, very important. But what I love about the service and where we're going is we're not focused on any one thing. Something like the World Cup or the Olympics certainly drives a large surge in conversation. But when you look at Twitter overall and you take a broader view, you realize that that's actually a small part of the overall Twitter story. The conversations are happening across news, across sports, across entertainment, every single day in every part of the world. And that's really the story that we're working with marketers. And I think that they're getting really smart about trying to connect their messages with the most valuable customers. And more you're seeing that, like, we have those customers. They're more influential on our platform. They have a voice. They're more likely to try new products. So when you're talking to a big technology company that's launching a product and they know they have to get it right, Twitter is one of the first places they go to actually start their campaigns.
Matt, this might be anecdotal, but you can tell me if it is. There's some concern that the demographic sort of breakdown of your audience is aging, essentially, and you don't really appeal that well to millennials. Can you address that?
No, I mean, particularly here I am in Singapore, and this part of the world has so much usage happening on the internet, and is such a young and vibrant audience, and they want to engage in conversations. So as I look at the growth that we're seeing at Twitter, we're seeing really positive growth across multiple age groups, and anecdotally, I would say it's a place where we want to build a platform where young people can really express themselves. And this is a perfect place for them to connect and have conversations that they couldn't have anywhere else.
Can you quantify that growth?
We're not breaking out specific demographics.
Double-digit growth is possible going forward?
Yeah, well, we've had between 9 and 14% for the past 7 quarters, and we're really confident in the investments that we're making, that we can continue to bring on not only daily active users, but also really quality users, the kind of people that our marketers really want to connect with when they're marketing their products.